We are talking to Gerard
Lehiany,
creative director on the new Spider-Man Edge of Time from Beenox. And why don't you tell our listeners, our viewers, a little bit what they can expect from now your second Spider-Man themed game?
Okay, so Spider-Man Edge of Time is our new single-player action-adventure game. Well, the player can play both Amazing Spider-Man and Spider-Man 1990. In fact, to talk a little bit about the story, we have an evil scientist from 2099 that goes back in time in order to change history. Then Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099, witnesses that, and he needs now to contact Amazing Spider-Man and to work with him closely in order to put things back the way they should be. Now, from a gameplay point of view, what's interesting is what we call the cause and effect gameplay. Each time that the player in playing Amazing Spider-Man will change something important in the game, he will be affecting 2099 universe. So for that, we'll be using picture-in-picture. So while the player is playing and changing actually his own timeline, he will see how it affects 2099.
Cause and effect.
Exactly. On the other hand, when 2099, when the player will be playing 2099, he needs to be very reactive because some wall will appear, disappear, some robots can come out of nowhere because of what is doing Spider-Man amazing in his own timeline. So it's a both way of experimenting time travel for those guys into the gameplay.
Now you announced earlier who the actors are portraying both Amazing Spider-Man and Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099. Could you let us know about that?
Sure. We have Josh Keaton, who will be playing as Amazing Spider-Man, and we have Christopher Daniel Barnes playing 2099.
And also on board you have one of the huge creators of several universes, including Marvel, including their competition as well, but also creator of Spider-Man 2099. How was it to work with Peter David?
In fact, we started having ideas of Edge of Time while we were doing Shattered Dimension. And as soon as I got that point of time traveling and started thinking of Spider-Man Amazing and Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099, I've been asking the opportunity to work with him because he's the father of Miguel O'Hara. And he says yes. So that was amazing because he came at Quebec in Beenox in the studio. Actually, we locked ourselves for many days brainstorming and seeing all the story and different gameplay elements with him. And so we could, craft that story together. That was an amazing experience. He came very early in the concept, and then from that point, we kept working together. So very, very good point working with Peter.
Now, when you're using this time concept, there's a lot of things that are fluid in terms of continuity and whatnot. Can players expect to see variations of their favorite characters or in the game? Will they see new characters that they've never seen before in a comic?
I cannot talk a lot about this, but I can tell you that we have some very cool villains. We have known villains. We also have villains that have never appeared in any video game yet. And we also have a lot of different cameos into the game. So this is a lot of things that we do for the fans and for us also, because we're great fans.
Now, one thing that we saw in our demo earlier was that I really liked was we had two different personalities having to work together. Can you talk a little bit about how you wanted to work this relationship between Michael and Peter from the two Spider-Mans in the game?
Sure. So Miguel O'Hara and Peter Parker has really two different personalities, even though they're both Spider-Man. And we wanted that story to be also the place where they could have characters arc, they could evolve as character. So we wanted to build a friendship between them and not having said, okay, I'm a Spider-Man, you're a Spider-Man, let's be friends. No, real friendship is usually crafted in some problems. When you have difficulties and that someone is here, then you can call him your friend. So this is exactly what they'll be living in the game. At the very beginning of the game, they don't agree with each other. They're forced to work together, but they're not agreeing. By the end of the game, with all what they will be through, I can tell you they're real friends.
Now, one hook that we saw in the trailer, which should be available by the time people are watching this, was the death of Peter Parker. That's that has me, interesting to find out how the story plays out. Can you talk without what you can talk about? Can you talk about how that sort of drives the story?
That's in the very beginning, when we had that evil scientist going back in time. Miguel sees that, and he wants to chase him, and he gets stuck into that portal. In that portal, he has vision, and he see that Spider-Man will die. So this is like fatality. So this is why he needs to contact him, because the death of Spider-Man is gonna become something very important. Many people will die because of his death, and this is where it becomes, weird in their relationship. Is that he calls Spider-Man and says, "Man, you're gonna die. Be careful." And well, Spider-Man doesn't believe it in the first place. And well, you see through the story what happens, and maybe the player can avoid it, or
Oh, cool. Well, Spider-Man: Edge of Time, it comes out this fall. Is that correct?
Exactly.
And thank you so much, Gerard, for
Thank you.
letting us know about the game.
You're very welcome.